Can we have invocation, please? Bobby?
Y'all should tell me I should wear red tonight. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. Thank you, God, how you continue to bless us and keep us. God, as we are allowed to attend another council meeting, that should be with all these council persons. Be with them and guide them in having the wisdom they need to do the things that are pleasing in your sight also that helps our community to grow. God, we want to take a special time just to thank you for these 13 and 14-year-olds team that's here, the GRC here that's here today that have played, went to state, represented Jeffersonville so well, represented their parents, represented this community. We thank you for keeping them safe, keeping them protected. We thank you for giving their coaches the strength they need to coach them and the time to invest into these young men and young ladies, if there is a young lady on the team. God, continue to bless this community, continue to watch over them, continue to help us, Lord, to understand that you are the maker and the ruler of all things. And God, we ask you to continue to bless our first responders, be with them, watch over them, and let us not ever take for granted all they do to protect us. We ask it all in the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. Well, at this time, Vicki has a special presentation.
But I would ask for all the team to come up, please, and stand up front here because you're all going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the parents. And I'd just like to make a few comments first. This is the only Jeff team, GRC team, that went from District 5. And all these young gentlemen here and their parents give up their summers for baseball and for their city. And I know for a fact, having family members that have played, what these families and parents give of themselves every day for these young men and women. The other thing I'd like to say, each one of these boys, a lot of them came from different teams and played against each other, and they came together as one team for the city of Jeff. And I think as adults, we all can learn from these young men and their parents. And I would like just to say that they are our true ambassadors for the city. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Honor to face the flag and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We appreciate that. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's give them another round of applause.
Councilperson Gill, would you like each one to go up and introduce himself?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Tell us what position you play.
Hi, my name is Ben Harbison. I played third base, obviously the best looking of the team, if you see. No, but we did pretty well. We have over here Coach Rob Harbison. And then my role was just to be a good teammate, play third base. Of course, I had to hit because I don't think any of them could, but, you know.
Here comes that difference.
We had fun.
Yeah, we got Coach Rob Harbison here. 28, Bradley Foster. Of course, you guys just met Ben, unfortunately. 29, Cam Vissing. 24, Jacob Grimes. Number 11, Gavin Lone. Oh gosh, y'all did it again. Which one's which there? What number's on the back there? 18, that's Brady. And I want to tell you guys, poor Brady, he tore his meniscus right before we went up to state, so he had to do a lot of watching in the dugout, and I hated it for him because he was a very big part of our team through district, and we missed him dearly up there, for sure. And his brother's back behind him. That's Cole Thirdowski, number 5. Zachary Hackworth, number 35. Jason Hartsfield, number 2. Cody Short, number 13. Philip Bays, number 16. And Noah Hernandez, number 21. And then also, we're missing one tonight. He couldn't make it. Was number 17, Dylan Robinson. And then we got Coach Tommy Hackworth. And I want to say something. on behalf of the city and just everybody in Jeffersonville in general. This is probably, for a lot of them, this is the second state tournament I've been to, and been other places around the state to the Little League facilities. And I think a lot of times people in the city and players also take for granted what a very nice facility that we have over to play at, because I'm telling you, some of them that we have been to are very bad shape, and we have it's a very, very nice facility compared to 90% of them that we go to. So we thank you guys for that, and it makes it a lot easier for us coaches. We got the facilities to do it and the equipment, and also the personnel with the league president and all the board members and the help over there. So we thank you guys for that.
Thank you, Jim. Have a roll call, please.
Councilperson Smith. Councilperson Sostovny.
Present.
Councilperson Wadsworth.
Present.
Councilperson Webb.
Present.
Council President Gill.
Present.
Councilperson Julius.
Here.
Councilperson Owen.
Here.
Councilperson Samuel.
Here.
Let the record reflect 8 councilpersons are present. Councilperson Sellers is absent.
And Councilperson Sellers is moving her son to Washington, D.C., so that's why she is not here. The minutes to be approved. Let's do the regular council proceeding of July 20th, 2015.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Minutes from council workshop, July 20th, 2015.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Got approval of the agenda, and as you all know, we are under unfinished business. We are tabling 1 and 2. And under new business, we are moving number 3 up to number 1. So Rob Ways, with his resolution for the Heavy Haul Road, will be number 1, then Scott will be 2, Vicky 3, and then on down. So do I have a motion to approve with changes?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Got a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of claims, Heather.
I have one hand carry claim to Local Grown Films for $18,000. An email was sent out to you all, and I had approval to bring that to you all. Do you have any questions on that?
What was that total again?
$18,000 for the hand carry.
Okay. Do you have a new total?
New total is $2,317,588.67.
Okay, and Heather, I need you to check on page 2, under the fire, a little bit down, the Boggs Pest Control, was a $110 claim. Please make sure that that claim is signed.
Okay.
And then on page 7, we had, it's under the planning and zoning. I think it was page, wait a minute, it's page, that was page 7. Okay, yes, under the liens to be filed in late July for 132, that had nothing with the claims. Dan was not in the office. I did leave word with Linda, so can you please see that something's attached to that claim?
You need backup? Okay.
Council have any questions, comments?
I got a couple of questions on, I don't know whether we'll have an answer, but on street department, it says one large tree blown down on Walnut, $2,000.
What page is that?
Page 5.
Yeah, I went in and when I saw that claim, I went in and talked to Linda about that. That's abandoned vacant property, and it was a tree that was split and falling. It was hanging in the neighbors and actually did some damage to the neighbor's yard.
Did we put a lien on the vacant property?
Yes, we did. I checked on that too.
And the only other question I had was on page 11. It's under fire. It says purchase waiters on a credit card for 2002 49. And I thought we had a line item for, and it might be, but I thought we had a line item for the uniforms.
It is coming out of uniforms. The word uniforms doesn't, for some reason, when you, the way that it is
The
for
rest
the
of them
Chase
have
credit
uniforms,
card.
but that one's not under it.
Yes, it's the same account number, see,
Okay.
yeah. Not sure why the software does that. It kind of takes that line out when it pays with a credit card on the purchase order. We've had them look at that.
Just a comment on page 6 at the very bottom, Clio Personnel Solutions. Owens is not me. So, or anybody I know.
You weren't driving the trolley?
No, wasn't me.
Just to comment too, on page 10, we're paying our second share of the 911 consolidation. If you guys remember, the local occupational income tax, known as LOIT, was actually created to fund the 911 consolidation mandated by the state, and we pay twice a year. So that's $413,000. So just so you know, that's what that is. That's our second share for 15.
Any further questions?
Motion to approve with the hand carried.
Second.
Got a motion and a second with including hand carry, which is a total of $2,317,588.67, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Claims are approved. Thank you, Heather. Report of the clerk.
None at this time.
I'll move back. Oh, Heather, you probably should have stayed up there. 2015 OR 36, an ordinance transferring certain funds within the same department.
The transfers first, yeah. The first one for the fire is to get the appropriation in the proper account, because those are for fire gear, masks, different things like that. I don't know all the things that they buy with that, but more long-term capital expenditures rather than a supply like a uniform. The next two for the 5,000 and 13,900 are for nets at Worley. And then we had the animal shelter transfers that were discussed at the Finance Committee meeting.
It's already passed on first and second.
Motion to approve 2015 OR 36 on the third and final.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2013 OR 36 in the third and final reading. Any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Heather Metcalf, we do have a public hearing tonight,
Yes.
correct? Ms.
Yes.
Conlon?
Yes.
Proposed use. Ordinance of additional appropriation, this one passed on first and second.
The first one for vehicles is for 5 Impalas for the detectives and 1 Tahoe for the SWAT. The next one for equipment is for radios. The next one is for narcotics vehicle. The next one is for advertisement for the What to Do in Jeff flyer from the Parks Department. And then the spay and neuter is to appropriate cash.
Anything from council before I open up public hearing?
I did have a question. I thought we started the year out in Lloyd for the vehicles at like $375,000, the budget. And if that's the case, am I correct in assumption we've spent that and we're appropriating an additional 183?
I think that's correct. And, while Heather's looking, I'll just say what I think is the case, that the original 300 was for the cars that were going
Patrol
out.
cars.
Yeah, patrol cars out on the street. And this was the additional, because we haven't been cycling those detective vehicles like we've been recycling our patrol cars.
Yes,
I think that's the,
yes.
And in the conversation, in the finance meeting, Nathan, one of the things that we asked the chief to do was to start getting these vehicles in the rotation under his budget. But when we looked at the mileage and we looked at where the cars, what they were being used for and the age of them and so forth.
And if you remember the 14,000, we had received a check on that.
Right,
And that is just
appropriate it back in.
Right.
Yes.
That's all you had, Nathan?
That is.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to open up public hearing. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak for or against this? Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, I'm officially closing public record. I'll entertain a motion for third
I
and
make a
final.
motion to approve.
second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 37 on third and final reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Heather Metcalf, 2015 OR 38, ordinance transferring certain funds from the same department. This also passed on first and second.
This is to help pay off the Bissing Park ban. It's due in June of 2017.
July
July, yeah.
2017.
Yes.
Motion to pass 2015 OR 38 on the third and final reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 38 in third and final reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Heather, and this has a public hearing, 2015 OR 39, an ordinance of additional appropriation, and this also passed on first and second.
The first one out of edit is also to help pay off the Bissing Park ban. And then the last two are for the $1 million that goes into the new Worley Construction Expansion and Parks Project Fund.
As you did state last time, we do have some new people in the audience. Do you want to explain what we're doing out at Worley?
Yeah, well, first of all, we have an outstanding debt of $4 million for the completion of the Bissing Park project. That's in a bond anticipation note. You can borrow money from a bank via a ban for up to 5 years before you issue a bond. To issue a bond, it costs money. There's issuing costs, and so it's cheaper to pay off, obviously, before you issue the ban or issue the bond. So that's what we're trying to do as we're moving money around. And also, the plan is to have some additional money available to finish the Worley complex, which would be additional parking spaces and a building, not anywhere near the scale we've talked about in the past, but rather a smaller building, but still a nice building that would include locker rooms, concession stand, and those type of amenities nearby the turf field.
And I'd like to add to that building was always in the plans. We just wasn't built yet.
And we have talked about paying the band off for a couple of years, so.
I think that was the whole goal when we started the band,
When we
was to
started.
get started and then figure the financing.
Plan come to fruition.
Anything else from council before I open up public hearing? Okay, at this time, I'm going to officially open up the public hearing for 2015 OR 39. Is there anybody here who wish to speak for or against? Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
One at a time.
A lot of money. Okay, seeing none, I'm officially closing public hearing.
You're voting in favor, right?
I just find it, the public, it's a lot of money. We get a lot of stuff on Clark County Chatter, but we don't. I'm just saying.
I'll read that.
I'll make a motion to pass 2015 OR 39 in the third and final reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 39 on the third and final reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Heather. So, Rob Ways, you're up on the resolution approving the Hitley Hall Road.
Thank you very much for moving this up on the agenda. With me, I have Jerry Acey with River Ridge and also Scott Stewart with the port. as you all, I believe, know, you have it in your packet, a revised ILA with the transportation corridor, and they're looking for additional funding. Initially came to you back in the end of 2013. At that point in time, the project was estimated at $22,500,000, and that was just a very rough estimate that they initially proposed to us. Since then, the engineers have really kind of gotten down into it a lot more thorough, and they've come up with a revised estimate of $30,400,000. On this, it will show you basically how the initial contributions were laid out by each group, and it will also show the additional contributions that you're looking to ask for. So they're looking for redevelopment to give an additional $750,000, which brings us up to $3,350,000. The port went from $250,000. Now they're giving $2.5 million. River Ridge went from $6 million to $7 million, but then they've also made some other concessions with that. The county stayed at $2.4 million. KIPTA has come along, they said in 2019 that they will be able to come up with $2.1 million for the road. The state initially was at $11,250,000, and they said that they didn't want to budge off that number. So with that, we've had numerous meetings on seeing exactly what different groups could do. We came up with the $28,600,000. We can go ahead and make some changes, and what we'll do is put in some alternates whenever we do the bid work. So, let's say if the bidding comes in lower, we'll be fine. If not, there'll be different alternates where we can go ahead and shave some off of the road itself, so just kind of scale back somewhat. Also in the original agreement, the port and River Ridge, we're going to maintain the cost. Now they're asking in the revised agreement that the port, River Ridge, city, and county to maintain the cost of the road. So, and it's broken down into different sections on who's needs to fund it. As before, we were getting the TIF dollars out of Beth Nova, Galstar, and Vote Valve. And one other thing that actually makes this work for us, before the state was wanting all their funding by November 9th, 2015, we have got that extended to December 31st, 2017, what makes it a whole lot easier on getting the dollars from those TIFs. So, and it doesn't put the TIFs in a negative balance or anything.
And the agreement's been signed by all the parties?
I believe it's been signed, I know, by the port, well, and River Ridge.
I got a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
The map that we were given is only segment B,
Okay.
so you might try and get us a copy of, when you're reading through this, it's really hard when you don't have the whole map to try and figure out what areas, who's responsible for what areas, I guess I would say.
Okay.
The other thing that I think I remember from previous discussion, the road is 3 miles long, roughly?
It's,
Well, that's from the port, right? That,
But through River Ridge, it's about 2 miles through River Ridge.
so how long is the road 5 miles long then?
I think it's approximately 1.7 from the port to the River Ridge
I got you.
boundary, and then whatever Jerry has on his,
And is the railroad being accepted the whole way too?
the right-of-way, correct.
Because I was just curious of what the city's responsibility. It says in here 3 or 4 different places that they're going to take care of segment A, I think it's segment B, and what else did I read? Segment A, segment B.
Segment A is the segment from the port to the new interchange. And then segment B is, from the interchange through River Ridge.
Okay, and Salem,
Maintenance responsibilities, River Ridge is having maintenance responsibilities inside River Ridge.
okay,
So all of that you see up there is going to be covered by River Ridge.
okay. Well, and that's what I say, without the whole
And that's
map, it's really,
that's the largest section is
it's really
what you're
hard.
seeing.
And then
up
we're
there.
taking care of Salem.
And then
Interchange.
we're going to be going from, Salem Road interchange onto New Middle Road, and then it probably goes southeast maybe 500 feet, and then that's when the port picks up their section.
Well, my only comment on this, and I think it needs to be done, I'm not saying that, but we need to keep into consideration that we're not going to get any help from redevelopment on any of this, on taking care of this, as far as our road and street dollars. And,
You mean in the future?
yeah, once this road is built, we have to take care of I don't have the map, so it's really hard for me to determine, but maybe 2/3 of it,
Oh, no, it'd be a lot less than 2/3 of it.
including the interchange.
No, I
Well-
believe that WVB, as part of their concession, will have the interchange.
Okay.
I did
Right.
speak to Mr. Ways earlier today, and he's already discussed this with the street department.
Right.
It's going to be dollars. So just need to be aware of all these maintenance items coming up in the future.
Should we start applying for grants now?
I think you might. I mean, it's going to start piling up.
Well, I know we've got a lot piling up.
Man, you're not kidding.
This is a necessary major connector for the ports and for River Ridge, and it's
Oh,
going
100%.
to be a big deal for future development, especially considering the mega site and having more access to the river. And do we have a number? 11. Make a motion to pass 2015 R11.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 R11. Is there any further questions or comments, concerns? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank
you,
you all.
gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time and coming tonight.
Have a good night.
Mr. Lewis, an ordinance amending ordinance 2007 OR 45 requiring all Jeffersonville city-owned vehicles to display vehicle identification.
Yes, before you tonight is a ordinance amending a current ordinance, 2007 OR 45. I was asked to prepare this amendment. Pursuant to the current ordinance of 2007 OR 45, that ordinance does require that all motor vehicles, which include self-propelled vehicles for the transport of an operator, including mowing machines, earth-moving equipment, and any other self-propelled other machines, it does require all those type of vehicles and machines and equipment to have a decal identifying it as city property. But I was asked to do an amendment, a simple amendment, basically where we're also then requiring that the identification decal include the identification of the particular city department that owns that particular vehicle, piece of equipment, or machine. So that's basically what's before you tonight.
I brought this up, go ahead, I'm sorry. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago when I called Scott and followed through on it. And in doing a little more research with Vicki, we found this 2007 OR 45, I think it is. And the majority of what we need in here is already in the ordinance. The problem is it's not being done. And what I thought we would do instead of creating a new ordinance is that we would just amend the old one. And we need somebody to enforce this, whether it be the department head. But what happens is, and I've talked to Andy quite a bit about this, I know that departments share each other and share vehicles, and I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I think it just needs to be more transparent in that if we are spending an enormous amount of time on one job, or if you have an issue that's not getting taken care of, and you have vehicles from one department or machinery from one department, meaning employees too, then you are more transparent and you are able to see where those vehicles in fact are working. So that's why I asked Scott to work with us on this.
And I do have a copy of the 2007 OR 45. I don't know if you have copies up there, just to reference it. It's a one-page ordinance. And just to let you know that 2007 OR 45, it says that the ordinance does not apply to unmarked police vehicles used by the Jeffersonville Police Department. So that's already in that ordinance. So this is a simple ordinance. I'll just pass it around.
Does it outline the size of the lettering or the decal?
Well, yeah, it states that a minimum 7-inch decal identifying the,
That would apply to the department as well. I mean,
minimum.
not just the city logo, but it would also apply to the wording labeling the department, so you could clearly see it's whatever department.
I mean, yeah, because it would be minimum 7-inch decal. Then so I guess that gives a little leeway, the minimum 7 inches, and however that works out. I guess there'd be a little discretion on,
Sure.
on
I
the
just think
details
it's
of the
important
decal.
for us, as well as citizens, to know where your assets are at all times. So that's why I'm I pushed Scott to try and get this done by this meeting.
Do we do like those decals in-house, do you know?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
The reason I ask, I'm sorry, Bubby doesn't? Okay. I just ask because we transfer vehicles around a lot. I mean, if they can be easily recoded though.
Well, this would, for example, I remember Councilperson Smith asking a couple of weeks ago, I think at a Parks meeting, he asked about a mowing crew, somebody mowing some plot of land and
On Dutch Lane.
on Dutch Lane. And he would have known immediately who's what department, then he could.
It was a city truck, because they had the logo on the door, but I don't know which department it was.
Right.
I know
There's
the
an
truck.
example of,
Exactly.
he would have known immediately.
Exactly.
Trucks numbered, too? I have designated numbers to where...
I don't know, are they numbered, Mike? Do you know?
They may have a number like on a maintenance repair sheet or something, but as far as a visible number, fire trucks are numbered,
think
police
they
cars are
usually just go
numbered,
by
but I
the
don't think
number.
anything else is
Yeah.
numbered.
I kind of wondered about that when I saw this in the packet, if we wouldn't also want to take the extra step to give vehicles a specific identification number, be it 4-digit number, so that you
How's
know,
my driving?
yeah, well,
Know who's in it?
not for that, but you know, who that vehicle belongs to, and
Well, I do know in the claims that Bubby, he always has the VIN number of whatever vehicle he's working on. So if you shorten the numbers, maybe, because he always has the VIN number of every vehicle on there.
You know what you might even do before you would add that to this, because we can always come back and amend it, is talk to Bubby and get his, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Cindy Cyphers, she also has the list of vehicles, so she keeps all those vehicles on a list, so she may already have numbers assigned to them.
You might. So,
Put like back windows or something. Excuse me.
I'll make a motion to approve 2015 OR 40 on the first. That way, if we want any changes, we can have plenty of time.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 40 on the first reading. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thanks, Scott.
Ms. Conlon, an ordinance to transfer certain funds within the same department.
Okay. What I'm asking for, and you all know, we are much in a need for a new copier. Our copier I received in 2012 came from Sewer Department, and they've had two new ones since we've had this one. And a couple weeks ago, the gentleman from Canon, who always comes from repairs, finally said to me that it's gotten to the point where it's going to be hard to get parts because it's so old. So I've met and Andy and Becky Snelling, because they are now printing, because they needed a printer, copier too. They don't have the money in their budget, so they are now networked into us where they're using our copier also. And Patsy, we met with a representative from Canon. And there's a couple of really neat features with this new copier. Number one, it'll print color copying. The other thing, it'll have a mobile printing network, so if any of you all need something printed, you can take it from your phone and send it to the copier, and it's free. There's an updated software package on it that we will be able, if you send us something Adobe, we will be able to convert it to Word document. And it's got a lot of different good features that we need. Yes, it is a color printer. So if you send something from your phone to that printer, it'll print it in whatever you tell it to print it in. I think this copier we have is between 10 to 15 years of age. It's old. I mean, we baby it. It's got a
Copier has been a pain.
it's almost everything.
In that office a day that they don't want to kick it.
Yeah. And it will also have a scanning feature, which we don't have now. We have to go upstairs to scan. So I just think, and I have the money in my budget. When I am requesting a transfer, and to transfer it from stationery and printing, you've got it up, and also from computer software and maintenance fees. What I want to do instead of leasing it, because if we lease it, it's going to cost more in the long run, because we'll have to pay for the principal and interest. I mean, if we buy it outright, then we'll be paying, but it's 0.007 cents for black and white, and what was it, 0.07 or 0.05 for color. So I would prefer to do a maintenance agreement with them. It'll be more cost effective for us. Then the other thing too is with that maintenance agreement, drainage and engineering is going to help split the cost on that. So we'll be able to track it and everything. So, because instead of having two copiers down there, it makes more sense just to have one.
What's the cost of it, Vicki?
Um,
I mean, you said you had that in your budget?
yeah, I've got the money. I think it was around 11,000. Yeah. And if we lease it, it'll be around 13, 14. So, and then,
Do we have a number on this?
41.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2015 OR 41,
First and second?
first and second.
I'll second.
Okay, we had 2 seconds. Did you get which one second?
That-
Okay. Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 41 in the first and second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Can I say one more? And I thank you all. I'd just like to say, I think you all know I'm pretty frugal with the budget.
You are
So,
very frugal.
My staff will even tell you that, so, I appreciate it.
And I see that Mr. Major Lynch isn't here, so it looks like Assistant Chief McFoy, are you handling the training?
A couple of training requests tonight for you all. First one being the radio system programming. Allows us to send 3 operators up to Indianapolis for a one-day course to program our own radios. Right now, we're at the mercy of outside vendors and people to come help us, so it allows us to do it ourselves in-house. That money's in our budget. And the second is a public safety media training for public information officers dealing with the media, social media, and other avenues of getting our message out. That's a 2-day course. We're going to send 2 people to that as well, and we have that money in our budget as well.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass both trainings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Training's approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
hardest work you've had to do all day, isn't it? Okay.
Okay. Heather Metcalf, Jeffersonville Redevelopment Commission TIF Management Report.
This is a requirement that's due from the Department of Local Government Finance every year, and it shows the amount of revenue and expenditures for each TIF area, the base AV and the incremental AV, and the debt that's obligated for each TIF and how much is paid within that year and what's still due. The lovely part about the gateway system is that you don't really have a whole lot of control over it. So all of these expenditures and everything are for the year of 2014, even though the report says 2015 on the top. So they are all 2014 numbers.
That's what I was going to ask. It says 15. But
Yes.
The revenues and the expenses are 14?
Yes, for the year.
The entire
Yes. Yes. And this is the TIF reporting, even though it's not necessarily the same thing as the redevelopment reporting, which is something different, and that's another title on here that says that it's the Redevelopment Commission report, when it really is the TIF reporting. So I can't change the title on those. I apologize about that, but it just needs to be approved into your minutes, I guess. There's nothing really much to decide on it.
Couple of questions or maybe things that I noticed. If you look back to the Keystone TIF, and the way I understand this, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm going back to when I was on redevelopment, but your total base AV was the assessed value when the TIF started, kind of a baseline.
To some extent, yes.
And then as the TIF grew, then your integrated TIF AV grew with it, which is what your TIF was intended to do.
Yes.
To reinvest TIF dollars, but for some reason, Keystone is going down, and I haven't figured that out, and I need to look at the boundaries of it, but it's the only one really that's being affected negatively.
What do you see?
Are you saying the incremental part
Yeah,
or the base
incremental.
part? Okay.
It went from
I don't have
I guess
last
that's
year's.
9,522.
That's the base.
Yeah,
Yes. And then the incremental is
aggregate
5 million.
5 million.
And the what?
Your aggregate went to 5 million,
Your incremental, yes.
or your incremental.
Mm-hmm.
So is that 9,522?
It says 9,000.
You think it's 9,000?
The base AV at the,
Yeah, at the top.
mm-hmm,
Was 9,000?
yes.
Gosh, I figured it was 9 million because I couldn't figure having a base of 9,000.
It could be undeveloped land.
Yeah,
And that's what it was.
yeah, okay.
And it starts at 9,000, and then anything above that goes all directly to the
Good.
TIF. Yes.
Good deal.
So then that shows how it really works. Went from
Yeah.
9,000 to 5.4
If it did, yeah,
million.
Yeah.
exactly.
So all of that growth, yes.
And if you look at the Gulf Star, the base AV was 0.
Yeah.
We're up to 23 million.
Yes.
Same with Becknova. And
I mean, Volvalve is looking quite nice also.
Heather, being 14, can you tell us how the police station affected that?
owned property.
Because we've spent 7.7 million more than we took in,
Still have to have a value.
according to this.
Right. And a lot of that is the police station, yes.
But the police station bond must have hit 13.
The year of 2013, you mean?
The bond must have come in 13.
We're still currently paying that bond.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
no.
was issued 2013.
Yeah,
You see it on the
2013.
revenue.
Okay.
The revenue came in on 13.
Right, okay.
So we spent $7 million more in 2014 in TIFs than we took in.
Yes.
You know what would be nice in this report, probably not required by state statute, but the year that it sunsets would kind of be interesting to see too.
Yes,
Well,
I
I
can get
think-
that for you.
It's also interesting for us to have what the total obligations of each.
Right. Yeah, I added up all the obligations and I just round numbers, 67 million. Is that about right, you think?
I got,
You-
I got 70.
I'd have to add it all up myself
I
too.
just used
Yeah.
round numbers real quick, so it could be 70 million.
Well, and then when, in this unit review page where you have the revenues received and expenses paid,
Mhm.
on those ones where revenues and then the expenses that are much higher,
Yes.
are you,
There's a beginning cash balance that covers those
okay.
expenditures. Yeah.
And there's also a fund balance here towards the middle of the page
Yeah.
on each of those accounts that is in the positive.
Yeah, I looked at all the fund balances, but like I said, when you look at the total obligations, you got a fund balance of $1,565,61.72 just in Falls Landing, but the total obligation just for that one is $12,755,624. You got to remember these TIFs are going to be expiring, and
Right.
something we need to keep an eye on.
Well, the other thing that you have to figure in some of these fund balances is in late 2012 or early 13, we borrowed 10 or $11 million to put in these TIFs.
Which would be reflected on the outstanding debt.
It would be on the debt, but it also went into your fund balance. That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
You didn't have a plan for it. You just put it into the TIFs. And if I remember right, that was Falls Landing and Intercity Road,
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
but I'm almost sure it was.
Yeah, when you look at the bond issues from 2013, and you add it up, it looks like it's about 27 million. I don't know if we refinanced anything, but
That could have been, Ed, because I bet you they didn't get the bond. They started it in 12 and it came in 13. And you also took the police bond in 13.
yeah, I bet those two are combined.
I bet it is.
That's how you get the.
Well, there's two different bonds, but
Yeah, but they just break it down by series to
Right,
keep
right.
track.
Heather, the only other question I have is, we have the reserve for every bond that we have.
Yes.
Is it shown in this balance?
No.
It's not.
No.
Okay, good. That's good.
Make a motion to accept the report.
Second?
Got a motion second to accept the TIF report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is accepted. Thank you. Do we have a city council attorney report for tonight? I don't see any department heads here. Was there any public comment?
No, nobody signed up for tonight.
Okay. That leads us to council comments. So Councilperson Smith.
I have nothing.
Councilperson Zestani.
Related to Parks Authority business, on August 24th, we're going to have to change the time of our Parks Authority meeting because we have a budget workshop during that time. So I'd like to make that before our workshop. I think there's some emails out there about it. So Parks Authority meeting, I'd like to make it at 4:30, and then budget would start at 5. So it forces us to be a quick Parks Authority meeting on that,
And
August
Scott,
24th.
you'll advertise that.
Yes.
So August 24th, 4:30 is Parks, and then right after will be our budget, at 5 o'clock, budget workshop. That's all, thanks.
Okay.
30.
Councilperson Wadsworth.
Nothing?
Councilperson Webb.
No, nothing.
Councilperson Julius.
Yeah, just a couple things. This weekend, we had, I think it was called Jeff Goes Country. It must have been huge. I mean,
Record crowd.
record crowds. And, it's prideful to see our Parks Department and Police Department and so forth really do such a good job. The other thing that I will say is they had Claysburg Days, and speaking more as a Parks member, but we're going to have to put some money in that park. I mean, the electricity didn't work, and I specifically addressed that last year with the parks, with Paul. And the day of the event, they couldn't get any of the electric on any pole to work. That's not right. We need to give them, that park and all parks, the attention that they need. If they're going to have a function, and they asked us over a year ago, to upgrade the electric and that, and we need to do it. And I just want to call that to the Parks Authority Board, because I'll be bringing that up at the next meeting. The other thing is, I sent you guys the probably the third rendering of that tax abatement. And hopefully everybody's had a little bit of time to look at it, because I'd like to at least bring it to the next council meeting and discuss it, if you all are up for that. So, I know we'll print one and have it in our packet, but Vicki, if you could add that to, and I'm also going to invite Matt Hall from 1SI to come, and because him and I and Ann out of his office have really spent a lot of time working on this. So I think it's a way for us to be even more competitive for companies that we want to entice into Jeffersonville, but in the long run, on tax abatements, we can save a little bit of money. So just food for thought on that. That's all I got.
Councilperson Owen.
Few things. Echoing Mr. Julius's comments about the concert this weekend, it was an awesome crowd, an awesome event, and we really appreciate all of our city employees who step up to make those things happen, and we really appreciate our sponsors for sponsoring those events. Papa John's, Better Pizza, Better Ingredients, Better Pizza, is that it? It was a good night. It was awesome. Wanted to update the council, a couple of things from BPW. We did approve the sidewalk on Middle Road. I think when Andy came and discussed that before, we were going to take the sidewalk from Allison Lane up to the apartments on Middle Road going towards the port. We have approved up to on Middle Road from Allison Lane up to, I think, Capitol Hills, where there are existing sidewalks. But from Capitol Hills to the apartments, they've hit a snag because there's a property owner that is being a little, they're resolving an issue with a property owner in that second section. So the first section, we went ahead and approved so they can start work on that, and hopefully we'll get the issue resolved on the second section. The BPW did approve for Honeywell to put out to bid the project that was discussed at the last meeting, per our request. And then also I wanted to relay, I talked to Chief Hedrick today, and we've had a firefighter that's been out of work injured for some time now, a little over a year. And they said that firefighter had surgery today, and the prognosis is still not completely clear, but looks good. So hopefully that person will be able to return to duty. And then additionally, while we were on that subject, the chief mentioned that he has put out a lot in overtime because of FMLA this year. And he reported that in the fire department alone, we've had 12 babies this year. And that's a lot of time off and a lot of FMLA and a lot of overtime. And it got me thinking, we have a lot of new young firefighters, a lot of new young police officers, a lot of new young families that work for the city, and that's something that we need to keep in mind when time comes to reevaluate the budget and overtime numbers and that sort of thing. Because that blew my mind to think that 12 of our firefighters have been out with newborns this year, just this year alone. I thought that was a big number. I feel like there was something else, but I didn't write it down, so that's all I have for now.
Councilperson.
Couple things. I handed everybody, all the council people, persons, and our clerk, a card. This is, it's called a pocket guide for services. This is something that we've been working on for a little while. It's for transient folks and homeless folks. I received a call, and frankly, Councilperson Z reminded me of this. I received a call probably 6 weeks ago asking for if we had any type of a guide for folks that are, if you're walking downtown and you see somebody that is needing some help, who do we call? Who do we refer them to for services? And I think the police department used to hand these out, and the intent is to give these to we'll give them to the chief, let him give them to the officers that are patrolling down there, probably give these also to some of the city pride workers that are kind of the ambassadors down there, maybe even to some of the businesses downtown, or folks that might come across some folks that are needing some assistance or that are transient or homeless. And on this, it has numbers for transitional housing, for permanent housing, the street outreach number, the soup kitchen, food pantries, health care for the homeless, emergency shelter numbers in Indiana and Kentucky. So it's a good little guide, and we have quite a few of them, and I believe that we've got these donated. I'm going to confirm that. If not, then there'll be a claim on our under probably special projects or printing or something under the council, because I think it's very important to print these cards. So I want to make you aware of those. We'll be having those available for handout. Probably at our next meeting, because there is a finance committee meeting in between, I'm going to talk to the finance committee about it. I have a proposal for us to develop a way to help fund some of the art maintenance and the grant matches for art and things such as that ongoing, and I'm working on that now. But just a case in point, I know the council is aware, but we had a gentleman, I say that politely, who had mental issues. He was vandalizing our flood wall murals, and we couldn't catch him. And then we were maintaining that. We were having it painted and repaired. And while that was going on, we had the gentleman come back and start painting them again while the artist was repairing them, just feet down from them. She heard a spray can, and she's like, "What's going on?" And the guy actually pulled a weapon on her. And I want to say thank you to Carmen Industries. They had an employee run out and help calm things down, and the police showed up quickly and were able to apprehend the vandal. So I just say that to say that we have to have some money to be able to repair those, because if we don't repair them and fix them, then more people are going to tag them, and it'll start running down quickly. So I just want to make you aware that we're going to try to address that pretty soon. And then my last comment, Dennis had kind of mentioned it about Lansdowne Park needing some attention. I contacted, we have the Parks Advisory Boards, and one of those boards, they go around to every park, and they are supposed to log what needs to be done. Well, I was talking to the person that actually looks at Lansdowne Park, and he was taken back by that, and he said, "Well, I usually do a drive-by. I didn't get out and look." And so he is going to repair some of the picnic tables and have that done. I don't think I mentioned the electric, but at our next meeting you can bring that up. But just wanted to follow up to say I know it is going to get some attention, and they're going to start talking about getting out and actually physically doing more of a walk around instead of a drive-by. So I thought that would be helpful. And that's all I have.
Okay. Nobody else brought up the 10th Street medians, but I will. I got quite a few calls on it, question. Pardon?
National Night Out too, you going to talk
I will.
about it? Okay.
I think, we think that the public is aware of the steps that was taken along with the 10th Street medians, and that's not the case. So when this executive order was issued, a lot of people didn't know. All they knew is when they were driving by and they saw the activity that was taking place. I got a lot of emails, I've got phone calls, I got on Facebook, and I think what's important for people to realize that the city council is the fiscal body and we're the legislative body. So we don't have any control over the employees. All we can do is place funding, which we, the city council, we did place funding for the maintenance and whatever was needed for the medians, but we don't have any control over the employees. We can't have them go out there and maintain. We especially can't override an executive order. So a lot of people are confused about that. I know Councilperson Sellers contacted me. She got quite a few calls. And I think it was just a lot of confusion with the public, and I just don't think they understand the different branches in the government, that we can't supersede the executive order, and with not having any control over the employees, we can fund, and that's all we can do when it comes to the medians. I don't know, you take whatever position, there's a lot of people that are for, against, whatever, but a lot of people were upset because they had no idea what was going on. So I promised that I would bring that up. There was actually going to be some people here, but they didn't show up, but I promised I'd bring that up. And then, as we said, tomorrow is National Night Out, and I cannot thank the Jeffersonville Police Department enough, the Sheriff's Department, the Streets Department, the Parks Department, everybody in the city. They've all worked so well to coordinate with JNLA. It's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and I mean, everybody's just worked together so effortlessly, and that's the key, is working together and bringing the community together. And I especially want to do a public thank you to Old Town Grocery. Really stepped up and gave us a great deal on all the food, and they donated the water. And then also Crunchers, that's right here and basically in our backyard back here, they donated all the snacks. And we've got some good businesses out there that really step up for the city, that they want to give back to the community, and I like to publicly recognize them and thank them for that. And then I had, if you all would please, we'll bring it up at the next finance meeting, but I do need your response and your opinion on the financing for the fire trucks. I mentioned that before the meeting, but I don't know if anybody heard that, because we really need to give Heather some direction so she can get moving on that, because it's holding up them calling the banks and trying to get the city the best possible rate and deal. So if you all could do that, I appreciate that, and that's all I have. So I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.